Dinkha IV, born Dinkha Khanania, was the Catholicos-Patriarch of the Assyrian Church of the East. He was born in the village of Darbandokeh, Iraq. Personal life. Dinkha Khanania was born in Iraq and baptized in the Church of Catholicos located in the village of his birth, Darbandokeh. Khanania gained his elementary education under the tutorship of his grandfather, Benjamin Soro. In 1947, at the age of 11, he was entrusted to the care of East.He Canonical Metropolitan and the Patriarchal Representative for all Iraq, the second highest-ranking ecclesiastic of the Assyrian Church of the East. After 2 years of study, he was ordained deacon in the Church of Dinkha in Harad by East on 12 September 1949. On 15 July 1957, he was ordained to the priesthood and appointed to minister Urmia, Iran. He was the fourth in the line of succession to the bishopric of Urmia. Dinkha's priesthood as Metropolitan of Iran and Tehran re-established a line of succession which had ceased to exist after the 1915 assassination of his predecessor. In 1962, Dinkha moved from northern Iraq to Tehran. During his tenure in Iran, he established a seminary and advocated for Assyrian nationalism and ecumenism. Responding to popular demand, Catholicos-Patriarch East.He XXIII consecrated Khanania as bishop on the 11th of February 1962, in the Church of Catholicos in Tehran. Dinkha died on 26 March 2015 in Rochester, Minnesota. Tenure as Catholicos-Patriarch. After the assassination of East.He XXIII, the Church of the East had an urgent need to restore its leadership. In 1976, the prelates of the Church convened in London to elect a new Catholicos-Patriarch and chose Dinkha as the most qualified candidate to fill the post. He was consecrated on 17 October 1976, in the West London Church of St Barnabas, Ealing. With this consecration, Dinkha IV became the successor to the Apostolic See of Seleucia Ctesiphon. He also announced that the hereditary line of succession for the Patriarchy, which had existed for 500 years, was discontinued with his tenure, allowing any cleric from the Church of the East to be elevated to Catholicos-Patriarch. Dinkha established headquarters, along with 4 other houses of worship, in Chicago, Illinois, United States, in part due to the instability of the Iran-Iraq War. This conflict, as well as Saddam Hussein's policy of Arabization in Iraq, the Gulf War and subsequent sanctions against Iraq, intensified the Assyrian diaspora from the region. Meanwhile, the Islamic Revolution and Shia emphasis in Iran created a tense situation for Assyrians in the Middle East. During the reign of East.He XXIII and Dinkha IV, American membership in the Church of the East rose from 3,200 in the 1950s to approximately 100,000 in 2008. In 2005, the Patriarch conducted discussions with President of Iraqi Kurdistan Masoud Barzani on returning to the Apostolic See in northern Iraq and constructing a new residence in Ankara. On 15 July 2007, Dinkha celebrated 50 years of his priesthood. A ceremony was held at St. George Cathedral in Chicago, where a portion of Ashland Avenue was renamed His Holiness Dinkha IV Boulevard. In 2008, he received an honorary degree from the University of Chicago. In part because of his emphasis on education, he stated a goal of only appointing theologians with doctoral degrees to the position of bishop. Travels and ecumenism. Dinkha made ecumenism a priority during his reign, as well as advocacy for the Assyrian people. Relations with the Catholic Church. Dinkha promoted closer relations with the Catholic Church, both with the Vatican and the Chaldean Catholic Church. He first met Pope John Paul II immediately after the Pope's election in 1978 and made his first visit to the Vatican in 1984. The two continued to meet informally over the next decade, after a decision by the Holy Synod of the Assyrian Church of the East to have better relations with the Roman Catholic Church in 1994. Dinkha agreed to a joint Christological declaration with the Holy See. The common Christological declaration between the Catholic Church and the Assyrian Church of the East declares that it is a basic step on the way towards the full communion to be restored between the churches, emphasized common doctrinal positions between the two bodies, such as the Nicene Creed, and clarifies that the centuries the two have spent out of communion were due to geographic and cultural issues rather than doctrinal differences. On the 29th of November 1996, Dinkha signed an agreement of cooperation with the Patriarch of Babylon of the Chaldean Catholic Church, Raphael ibn David, in Southfield, Michigan, and met again on the 16th of August 1997 to bless an Assyrian church. This joint synodal decree for promoting unity also established a joint commission for unity which helped draft the 2001 guidelines for admission to the Eucharist between the Chaldean Church and the Assyrian Church of the East that allows Assyrians and Chaldeans to accept the Eucharist from one another. The prior year, Assyrians and Roman Catholics also produced a common statement on sacramental life that assessed the importance of sacraments in both churches. Assyrians have also been allowed to study at Baghdad's Chaldean Catholic College, and unmarried deacons and priests can study at Catholic universities in Rome. Middle Eastern and Syriac ecumenism. The Church of the East has been a member of the World Council of Churches since its 1948 inception, and Dinkha used this membership as a vehicle for bi- and multilateral ecumenism that would have been impossible prior to its inception. In 1984, the Assyrian Church applied for membership in the Middle East Council of Churches, but was denied due to objections by the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria, whose Patriarch Pope Shenouda III required the Church of the East to condemn its church fathers Diodore of Tarsus, Nestorius, and Theodore of Mopsuestia. The dispute between the Assyrians and Copts resulted in a common Christological declaration in 1996, which was later rejected by the Coptic Synod. In 1996, the Church of the East was offered membership in the MECC, but declined to join at the time. Discussions for the Church of the East to join the MECC have stalled since 1999. The Austrian Pro-Oriente Foundation brought together several Syriac churches in Vienna in 1994 to start a common dialogue amongst the ancient Church of the East, the Assyrian Church of the East, Chaldean Catholic Church, Indian Orthodox Church, Maronite Church, Syriac Catholic Church, Syriac Orthodox Church, Syro-Malabar Catholic Church, and Syro-Malankara Catholic Church. Representatives of these churches, along with academics, founded the Commission on Dialogue within the Syriac tradition. Consultations have been convened intermittently since that time. As a product of this process, Dinkha entered into negotiations with the Syriac Orthodox Patriarch Mar Ignatius Zachariah IWAs in 1997, and the two churches ceased anathematizing each other. Although Dinkha spent over 20 years in dialogue with the ancient Church of the East, the two remain out of communion. In 1995, the Indian Metropolitan See pledged its allegiance to Dinkha, leaving the ancient church primarily active in the Middle East, with some 50,000–70,000 members. In 1999, Dinkha declared that all ordinations and orders from the ancient church were valid. Political work and Assyrian advocacy. In September 2006, Dinkha IV paid a historic visit to northern Iraq to give oversight to the churches there and to encourage the president of Iraqi Kurdistan to open a Christian school in Erbil. During this trip, he also met Iraqi President Jalal Talabani and Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki. Dinkha pursued a pragmatic political course, calling on Assyrians to work together with the respective governments. He sought to depoliticize the office of Catholicos-Patriarch and expanded the church's outreach to the youth by including non-Syriac liturgies, composed in local languages. Works cited: Bailey, J. Martin, Who Are the Christians in the Middle East? W.M. B. Edmonds Publishing, ISBN 0802810209. Baum, Wilhelm Winkler, Dietmar W. The Church of the East, A Concise History, London. Routledge Curzon, ISBN 0415297702. Baumer, Christoph, The Church of the East, An Illustrated History of Assyrian Christianity, London. I.B. Taurus, ISBN 1845111115-X. Joseph, John, The Modern Assyrians of the Middle East, Encounters with Western Christian Missions, Archaeologists and Colonial Powers, Studies in Christian Mission, 26, Brill Publishers, ISBN 9004116419.